Hello, today I will conduct a general React review. What is it? React is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces created by Facebook. It's used to build single-page applications. React allows us to create reusable UI components. Let's review good and bad sides of React. The good. The first is that easy reason about how views render. JSX means clean, well-organized view code. The third is you can read React on the server. And the last is React will trick you into loving functional programming. The first bad side is that you don't get any of the following: an event system other than vanilla DOM events, any Ajax capabilities whatsoever, any form of a data lawyer, promises, and any application frameworks. Welcome to Webpack and the new ecosystem. That means that Webpack is groundbreaking tool, but it's confusing. You're going to have to get to know it. And the last is that Flux and data flow are complex patterns for beginners. The setup. When getting started with React, you should use the simplest setup possible: an HTML file which imports the React and React DOM libraries using script tags. You can see it on this slide. We've also imported Babel, as React uses something called JSX to write markup. We'll need to transform the JSX into plain JavaScript so that the browser can understand it. There are more two things you need to know. The div with the ID of root. This is the entry point for our app. This is where our entire app will live. It also called React element. The script type text Babel tag in the body. This is where we will write our React code. Components. Everything in React is a component, and this usually take the form of JavaScript classes. You create a component by extending upon the React component class. Let's create a component called hello. You then define the method for the component. In our example, we only have one method and it's called render. Inside render, you'll return a description of what you want React to draw on the page. In the case above, we simply want it to display an h1 tag with the text hello world inside it. To get our tiny application to render on the screen, we also have to use React DOM render. So this is where we connect our hello component with the entry point for the app, div with ID root. In this point, we tell React to render the hello component inside the DOM node with an ID of root. This is the result. The HTML-ish syntaxes we just looked at, h1 and hello, is the JSX code. This is not actually HTML, it's a lot more powerful. So what you write there does end up as HTML tags in the DOM. The next step is to get our app to handle data. There are two types of data in React: props and state. The difference between the two is a bit tricky to understand in the beginning. The key difference is that the state is private and can be changed from within the component itself. Props are external and not controlled by the component itself. It passes down from components higher up the hierarchy, who also controls data. A component can change its internal state directly. It cannot change its props directly. Let's take a closer look at props first. Our hello component is completely static. It renders out the same message no matter what. However, a big part of React is reusability, meaning the ability to write a component once and then reuse it in different use cases. For example, to display different messages. To achieve this type of reusability, we will add props. This is how you pass props to a component. This prop is called message and has the value my friend. We can access this prop inside the hello component by referencing this prop message like this. As the result, this is rendered on the screen. The reason we are writing this prop message with the curly braces is because we need to tell the JSX that we want to add a JavaScript expression. This is called escaping. So now we have a reusable component which can render whatever message we want on this page. However, what if we want the component to be able to change its own data? Then we have to use state instead. State, the other way of storing data in React, is the component state, and unlike props, which can be changed directly by the component, the state can. So if you want the data in your app to change, for example, based on user interaction, it must be stored in a component state somewhere in the app. To initialize the state, simply set this state in the constructor method of the class. Our state is an object which is our case only, has one key called message. Before we set the state, we have to call super in the constructor. This is because this is initialized before super has been called. Changing the state. Modify the state, simply call this set state, passing in the new state object as the argument. We'll do this inside a method which we will call update message. To make this work, we also had to bind this keyboard to the update message method, otherwise we couldn't have access this in the method. The next step is to create a button to click on so that we can trigger the update message method. So let's add a button to the render method. Here we are hooking an event listener onto the button, listening to the onClick event. When this is triggered, we call the update message method. Here the entire component. The update message method then call this set state, which changes this state message value. And when we click the button, here's how that will play. Now we have all basic understanding of the most important concept in React. In conclusion, here's why you should use React. The first is that it works great for teams strongly enforcing UI and workflow patterns. UI code is readable and maintainable. And the last is componentized UI is the future of development, and you need to start doing it now. Thank you for your attention.